Iraq criminalizes homosexuality with 15 years in prison. So we were going to cover this story and then there was an update to it literally yesterday, so I had to adjust the news segment a little bit. But in a devastating blow to LGBT rights, Iraq's parliament has passed a law making same-sex relationships punishable by up to 15 years in prison. The amendments to the 1988 anti prostitution law, approved by 170 of 329 lawmakers, also enables courts to sentence transgender people to 3 years in jail, codifying discrimination that had previously been carried out through vague morality laws. While an earlier draft had proposed the death penalty for homosexuality, which was what we were going to originally cover, the new provisions still represent a quote horrific development and attack on human rights, according to Human Rights Watch's Sarah Sanbar. The law sets a minimum 7 year sentence for promoting same sex relationships and 1 to 3 year terms for men who intentionally act like women. Quote, Iraq has effectively codified into law the discrimination and violence members of the LGBT community have been subjected to with absolute impunity for years, lamented Amnesty International's Razaw Salihy. The draconian crackdown, which postponed the vote until after the prime minister's U.S. visit to avoid impacting investment, stokes fears that, quote, kidnappings, RAPEs, and tortures and murders of LGBT Iraqis will further escalate with impunity. So, yeah, that's the most recent update. We were going to, and this is actually a story that our community member Zaid brought to my attention. We were originally going to talk about how Iraq was proposing the death penalty for homosexuality. And then essentially that motion got delayed a little bit because uh, the Biden administration got on the phone and was like, excuse me, if you do this, this is going to really mess up our bilateral relations. And also, excuse me, this is going to really like fuck up investments and all this stuff. Please don't do it. It's bad. And so then it was amended to, just a casual 15 years in prison. So I guess the good news is that, it's not the death penalty um for being gay.
Mm.
Instead, it's just the 15 years, but it's still a freaking nightmare. Um So here's some more details. The new amendments enable courts to sentence people to between 10 to 15 years in prison. Um, and they also set a minimum 7 year sentence for promoting same sex relationships and sentences ranging from 1 to 3 years for men who intentionally act like women. The amended law makes biological sex change based on personal desire and inclination a crime and punishes transgender people and doctors who perform gender reassignment surgery with up to 3 years in prison. Um, the amendments also ban organizations that promote homosexuality and punish wife swapping with a prison sentence of 10 to 15 years. Now, I
What?
don't know what this wife swapping is about. Like,
Oh, wife swapping. You mean
is this a
swinging?
thing against swingers?
Yes, swinging.
Why are swingers catching strays in this cultural is I'm like, is this actually about swingers or open relationships or is this code for something else? I don't know, but
No, I think
apparently
it's
wife
swinging.
swapping is yeah, so if you're part of the pineapple lifestyle, don't go to Iraq. Um, Random little collateral damage right there. Um, but basically, the lawmakers who are passing this
Is
and
it?
pushing for this are saying that this is a preventative measure to protect society from these acts. We need to protect the Iraqi national identity, our morals, our cultural norms, all this stuff. So it's that very consistent um, rhetoric that we always see when there's anti-LGBT legislation across the world, which is we need to defend basically our national identity. Um, because apparently some girls kissing girls is gonna break the Iraqi spirit. I don't know. It's insane. Um,
Yeah, I think LGBT, they're basically the claim is always this. Okay, LGBT people have superpowers, right? For some reason, they have by kissing each other and touching each other or dressing up in the way that they want, they have this power to basically tear apart the fabrics of their society. I don't know. It's either LGBT are so powerful and they have such superpower, or your country is so pathetically weak. I don't know which one is it. That could be it
mhm.
could be taken apart by people kissing. I don't
Yeah.
know. Pick yeah, which one it is. I don't know.
Some preachers think that they have the power to cause hurricanes. You know what I mean?
Yes.
We've covered some of that rhetoric before as well. As Zeta saying, "No, Suzanne," they slip in these things to show that they're fighting all immorality. And yeah, of course, that's the
Mm.
broader framing of this, right? This is very based on um basically senses of honor, honor of the tribe, those kinds of things. Um and what is shocking to me, but also not surprising at all, is that I have basically heard like nothing about this from like North American or Western LGBT communities or societies. Did you see anything from
Mm.
the LGBT community when the,
Did
Uganda passed down death sentences for certain homosexual acts? No.
mm.
No, nothing. Of course.
Yeah, I wonder why they don't talk about like a lot of leftists in the West. They're supposed to be LGBT rights activists, and these things don't really make them come out and protest. I mean, usually they say that, oh, they're focused on issues in their own backyard, right? But now that they're coming out for, they say, Palestine, that excuse is out the window, right? Like if you're supposed to be LGBT rights activists, before you had the excuse, well, we focus on our own country. Now you're coming out for Palestine. So why are you guys not talking about your fellow LGBT people in other places like Iraq? Like why not a single protest, not a complaint, not even a hashtag, not even a tweet? I don't know. The double standard seems
Yeah.
obvious.
Oh my yeah, the double standard is insane. Yeah, these are the people that care about, yeah, Arab LGBT people. Give me a freaking break.
Right,
Um,
right.
and I can explain it in a very simplified way. And albeit it is simplified, but this is the logic here. Okay. So they are against, or they are for Palestine because they see what is happening in Palestine as an expression of Western imperialist power and essentially interventionism.
Oh yeah.
So they're against
Oh
the
yeah.
interventionism. So
Actually, here's
why would they interfere in the domestic
a
d
affair.
oppression and discrimination of LGBT people living in these other countries, Arab, African, whatever, because that is an expression
Right.
of interventionism.
I will take you a step further.
So then essentially they're useless.
Yes. Yeah, but here's the thing, Susie. I will take you to a next level of being a leftist. Okay. Do you want me to do that? Right.
Okay,
So
yeah,
here's the
let's
next
go one
level.
deeper.
Do you know why this is happening in Iraq? Because of Western intervention. These people were not this bad. It was United States and other Western power that came and destroyed this country to the point that we have this, right? Who drew the lines on the map after World War II that made Iraq such a country? They fucked up this entire region. This is any problems that these people are having is because of Western imperialism, even if they're executing gays. Do you
There
like
can
that?
be no forms of persecution that exist outside of Western imperialism.
They have zero agency, Susie.
Yeah,
They are
exactly.
not even
Obviously.
people.
No, 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 no,
Yes,
no. No, no, no.
yes,
No.
yes.
Yeah. There is no bigotries, superstitions, abuses that can happen outside in
No.
any cultural context outside of um some white people fucked around and messed things up.
Hmm.
And don't even
Did you
believe
like
it,
that?
like, when they have their own texts that, like, existed before any of these things, like, in
Yes.
traditions that existed before any
No,
interference
they
that
were. They were.
obviously directly
Everything
prescribe
was
these.
great.
No, 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 no.
Everything was great before Western powers came into being. By the way, we are not exaggerating. Like, this is not an exaggeration. Like, what I said is
I
a
wish it
pretty
was.
reflective of what. Yeah, this is actually a pretty. Did you like it? Did you like how I actually? It was pretty accurate how I actually took it to the next level, right? That is actually the narrative.
Yeah. Um, we got a few more super stickers. Moo Joe just gave us a $10 super sticker. Thank you. And
Thank
Yusuf
you.
Dumfrey gave a super chat saying, "Art rightists also cowards and fascists too?" Some of them, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah. So here's the thing. If we say leftist, when we say leftist, we mean like the far left people on the left. So if by rightist you mean far right people on the right, yes, they're insane. They're actually they're racist, they're transphobic, they're homophobic, they're misogynistic, they're
identitarian,
anti-woman, they're
tribalist.
yes, they're religious. So of course,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. The reason why I get so fired up about the left is because I have lived in progressively run, and I mean capital P progressive, like, run cities for my entire life. Past 10 years of my life, I've seen things gone down the shitter.
Mm.
And I'm in the environment where I have to deal with the worst excesses of the left, like, every single day, and in my environment. Like,
Yes.
it's who impacts my life directly the most. And it's also
Well,
who is.
Hmm.
Sorry, go ahead.
Another problem with leftists is that they use liberal language. That's what makes them uniquely dangerous, because liberalism has been very successful when it comes to women rights, gay rights, trans rights, minority rights, and they basically are riding on that wave, and they use a lot of the lingo and a lot of the victory and achievements of liberal uh, movements to act like this was them, and also act like they're saying the same things, but saying exactly the opposite. And because this is what makes leftists very dangerous, is because they are they're an enemy from within. Like, I think like Islam, Christianity, um, far right, these are enemies that are coming for liberalism from outside, but leftism is kind of like a corruption from within, from inside the house, and it corrupts liberal movements. And because a lot of liberals cannot tell the difference, a lot of liberals want more equality for people, they want more freedom for people, they want for a lot of more rights from people, and they look at a lot of these woke people, a lot of these far right people, far left people, and they think like, oh, they are saying the same things and they're one of us, and they start endorsing them. And that's why it's kind of like it's a virus that is corrupting the whole system from within. So that's why I consider it one of the greatest threats to liberalism, because people can't tell the difference because they're so similar in the language that they use. And it opens another problem with wokeism or far leftist ideologies, is that it opens the door to the other enemies of liberalism. Like, it opens the door to Islam. So Islam is a threat to the liberalism, but Islam wouldn't be able to take down liberalism unless this far leftist people were inside the basis of liberalism, like Western countries, West European countries, and North American countries, and just letting all of this, letting the virus in. So that's why I consider it more dangerous. It's like a Trojan horse.
Exactly. Well, and you need to call and the
Yeah.
speaking about Trojan horse, they utilize the language of human rights, but then attack the very institutions and philosophies and values that birthed the universal human rights that they then scream and cry about being violated. But then directly go after the roots of the institutions and philosophies that birthed those concepts to begin with. Is no one
Ex-
noticing that?
Perfectly said. Do you know who makes the most amazing, gorgeous, and other adjectives that I can't use here on YouTube, blasphemous art ever? We do! And for some reason, we are giving it away for free. Download them now using the link in the description before we change our mind.